Morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Let's see if anybody is able to join me because this is a totally random live that was unplanned, as most of my lives are. But I have some things I want to talk about real quick because I just pulled up some numbers. But first, here is something that I do not recommend you do first thing on a Tuesday morning. I had my therapy appointment that I do every couple of weeks, and I had it at 8 a.m. this morning, and we're already like tissues in because I don't know how therapists do what they do, but even when you think there's like nothing on your mind, they dig and they find things where you're like, oh shit, I did not realize this is a thing that I do. But anyway, so we started the morning with a good cry in a therapy session, which sometimes you just have to do. But what I want to talk about is something that came up yesterday for me when I was looking at a couple of other coaches, because I follow a lot of coaches on Instagram, obviously, because this is what I do. This is the world in which I live. And I was looking at a couple of other coaches' posts and their lives and some of their celebration points for the year. And I actually have a posted here from my mastermind, where I wrote a note that I need to at some point do a masterclass on celebrating when shit's working, because so many people in my world struggle with this and literally don't do this. So many people in my world do not recognize the importance of celebrating when stuff is going exactly the way that you want it to go. So I was looking at other coaches' posts yesterday where they're celebrating their year and they're celebrating successes and they're celebrating what has happened in 2023. And I love it so much for them. And I'm always excited when I see another woman take her business to whatever level it is that she had as her plan, or even beyond. And I don't care what that looks like. And I don't care how it works for her. And I don't care what her dream is in relation to everybody else's dream and so forth. Like, I will just celebrate a woman succeeding in her business, no matter how small or how giant it is. But something came up for me as I was looking through these other coaches' celebrations, and I saw a lot of celebration posts about, this was my multi-six-figure year, or I had manifested $1 million year, so here's the $1 million year. And it was a lot of financial celebrations, and those matter, and those are so important. But I want to give a little bit of a different spin to thriving in my business in 2023 in a way that was somewhat unexpected for me. To give background, I did pull up our numbers because you guys know, if you've been in my world for a minute, I check my numbers multiple times a week because that's just good business ownership. If you don't understand what your numbers are, you have no idea what's going on. You don't know what you're working toward. You don't know where the leaks are. You don't know what's working and what isn't working, because in the end, if your business isn't making cash, it's not a business, right? So we care about the numbers. So because I pull up my numbers all the time, I already had a roundabout idea, but I pulled them up yesterday afternoon and looked at everything. And we have blown last year out of the water. The financial numbers look amazing, right? We have made more money than we did last year. Everything looks according to plan. But then I reflected back on what I had set as my intention, or my goal, I should say, for 2023. And I just kind of said the word accidentally, but my goal for 2023 was to do everything with intention. It was literally my word of the year was intention. My team knew that. I said, every step we take is going to be based on intention. None of it is going to be random. None of it is going to be fly by the seat of our pants. Everything is going to have intention, which is not to say that there wasn't flexibility or ability to pivot. Of course there was, because I don't do anything that I don't want to do in my business. Full circle, coming back to what my point is, as I was looking at all of these other coaches' posts about how they thrived, almost everything was financial. Almost everything was down to, well, we made this much money and we had a six-figure month and we had a multiple five-figure day and we had this and this and this. And all of those things are wonderful. Back to what I said a minute ago, I applaud every woman who is thriving in her business in any form or fashion whatsoever, whatever the target was, whatever the goal was. If your goal was to hit a $5,000 a month, I'm celebrating for you if you hit that goal. I'm celebrating for you if you got your first client. I am celebrating every milestone for every woman along the path. Here's where my reflection on 2023 and how I have thrived in my business this year is a little bit different. Again, financially, we hit all the milestones. We checked all the boxes. Financially, we crushed it. We blew it out of the water this year. The business is doing amazing financially. But my target was intention, because my first year in business was focused on number of clients. More. That's what I was taught. That was my focus. I hated it. You guys know that. I've told that story a bunch of times. and I got out of that halfway through my first year of business. After that, it was a lot of holy crap, we're just scaling, and it just kind of came out of nowhere, and there wasn't a whole lot of plan around it. It just happened around me, and we just stayed above water as things were growing. And it was amazing. And I loved every minute of that. But fast forward to early 2023, and my target, actually December of 2022, was intention with, I don't want to feel like I'm drowning. I don't want to feel like we're putting out fires. I want to grow and I want to scale, but I want everything to feel good in the process. So my reflection on 2023 and where I want to get back to the make room to celebrate, because people suck at celebrating, because we get financial, targets, financial milestones in our head, and then we get stuck on those. And if those for some reason look different, we think we have failed. Look at your business in a holistic way, and what does it actually mean for you to thrive? Because here's the perspective on the numbers for me this year. We have had higher months consistently than we did last year. We have had a higher total revenue than we did last year. We have increased how we reach people more easily than we did last year. But the biggest piece of it for me is we took less total clients, and I worked about half the amount of time than I did last year. So while everyone's out there celebrating, $1 million years, 6-figure months, all of those things, we're a 7-figure business. We have reached the numbers, right? What I want to focus on and what I'm celebrating, and what has shifted everything in how I do business and how I feel about my business after 2023, is that I literally have the freedom that was the original goal when I built this business. I did not have to take one-on-one clients this year. Literally didn't have to. I took a couple very strategically, very specifically, very intentionally on both the business coaching side of my business, but also on the screen nutrition side of my business. I took a total of 2 one-on-one clients on the nutrition side of my business for the whole year. I used to have 40 a month when I started my business, 40 one-on-one clients a month. I took 2 for the whole year, and the business blew last year's revenue out of the water. But the bigger piece of that is, not only did we exceed last year's revenue, but we exceeded last year's profit, and our profit margin increased significantly, and how we are set up from a tax perspective has shifted to the positive significantly, because we intentionally put layer after layer after layer into the business this year. And a lot of times when I say we, yes, I have a team behind me, but the leadership of this, the manifestation of this, the big picture goal and decision making, that's me. That's 100% me, because in the end, I'm responsible for my business, right? The directive of my business, the direction of my business, the action taking and trigger pulling of my business is me. My team helps me execute, but I am it. I am the driver of the business, as you should be the driver of your business. So in reflection of 2023, more revenue, more profit, the biggest one for me, less time. I'm literally working half the time that I did the year before. I am taking way less one-on-one clients than I did before, but having more impact and being able to reach more people in more accessible ways to them. Again, everything intention. My intention was not just how do I make more money. Of course, that's one of the intentions, because otherwise you don't have a business. But my intention from the start has always been, how do I help other females get out of this thought process of this is unreachable for me? How do I help other females scale their business and get to a point where they fully believe and fully embody the fact that they can build whatever they want to build? That's what we did in 2023. It was not just more money. It was not just more profit. It was not just less time for me working. Hey, Dave, thanks for joining. It was more impact on other people with less time given on my behalf, with less obstacles in other people's ways to be able to access what they need. I intentionally this year put out all of the resources that I knew a woman would need to scale her coaching business in the way that she wants to scale it. Whatever that looks like. You're trying to make $4,000 monthly so that you have a little bit of extra spending money for your family and don't have to worry about groceries. I'm 100% behind you. I got you. You're scaling to your 6-figure month. I'm 100% behind you. I got you. Anything in between, I'm 100% behind you. I got you. Because the understanding for me has always been about the business means nothing. The money means nothing in a business if we're not actually improving lives. If we're not actually improving not just the lives that we live as the business owner, but the lives of the people that we serve. Because all of us who coach do this because we're serving somebody. If you're in coaching for the sole purpose of coaching can make you a shit ton of money, please exit coaching because you're here for the wrong reasons. And it's going to come back to bite you in the ass, and people are going to know. People are going to recognize who you are and what you do, and people are going to know. So my reflection on 2023 is not just we blew the money out of the water. It is we stay true to my word, my intention of building something that is sustainable, that brings me joy, that gives me freedom, that makes me feel phenomenal about showing up, and has massive impact on the people in my world. Empowers women in my world to understand that they have the magic in them, that if this thought is in their head to do this thing with their business, they are not only capable, they are already predestined to go do the thing. They now just have to go execute. And in that process, very intentional, bring them the resources this year that literally walk them through the process, that literally show these other women how to do what I have done and how to get themselves to a place where they are where I am now, where you are working less and things roll and the business is producing. And it doesn't matter what the goal is. So yes, I celebrate all of those women out there who are celebrating their $4 million year or whatever, or who are celebrating 40 people in their mastermind or 1,000 people in their membership. I celebrate you. I think that's phenomenal. None of those were things that I was after this year. None of those were things that were on my bingo card for this year. None of those were things that were in my intention. I don't want 40 people in a mastermind. I want 6 to 8 people in my mastermind, because that's how we curate a space where we actually navigate together. And I am so in your business and you become family to me, and we build the dream that you have so your business can run with intention. So you can truly create something where you are making that kind of money, whatever that is, whatever your measuring stick, your target is, in a way to where you're spending less of your time while having more impact, in a way where you are actually building something that brings you the freedom and the joy that you were after in the first place. So as you're reflecting on 2023, and I would love it if you would DM me and tell me how you're doing, because I want to celebrate with you. This is how we connect together and keep moving forward together. My very first mastermind, my business mastermind that I ran, was accidental. I had no intention ever of teaching other people how I ran my business. For those of you who are new in my world, I have run businesses with my husband on my own in a combination of things for 20 years. My very first business I started was in 2004. I have coached people for a really long time. I did not join online coaching. I coached people for a really long time because I am very old. I have 1,000 diplomas. I've done this for a really long time. And I've coached people in that capacity. I eventually brought it online because this is the life we live now, right? But all of those things that I've done, all of that experience led me to accidentally run my very first mastermind because people were asking me how I was doing what I was doing. My intention was never to do business coaching. My intention was to build my nutrition business, scale it, and have as much impact as I can on people to get them back to getting in line with their body and take care of themselves the way that nature intended and the way that their body already knows how. And I did that. And I did that very successfully. I'm still doing that. That business still runs, right? And my very first mastermind was an accidental development from that. Everything scaled from that. It was never about how do I get 40 people into a space to pay me money. It was never that. It was always about how do I get the right people that have the same desire that I do, that want to scale to the degree that I have, and how do I share that with them? How do I guide them? How do I give them my 20 years of experience and wisdom? How do I, because I'm really good at this, explain to them the gaps that I'm seeing in their business? I can look at your business from the outside in and I can immediately see where the gaps are. You have an online coaching business, I can immediately tell you where you're falling short, where your messaging isn't what it needs to be, where we're not getting the real essence of you and where it's not connecting. I'm good at that because I've done that for a really long time. I've had businesses fail. I've had businesses be multi-million dollars successful. I've done all of the in between. But my intention has never been, how do I get the most number of people into a space to pay me the most amount of money? And because I haven't done that, my business has soared. Because I haven't done that, I now last week, literally 2 weeks ago, whenever Thanksgiving was, 3 days before Thanksgiving, sold a high ticket mastermind without ever launching it. It literally filled before I ever got a chance to launch it. I never even got to put the branding out. Nobody ever saw it because it filled behind the scenes before I ever put it out there. Because people understand when you step into my space, it's not about numbers. It's not about how many people are going to join. How many people can I get in here? It's not about that. It is about how can we build a life in your business that you love so much that you literally just cannot wait to show up. And as a result, the numbers happen. As a result of that, as a result of being unattached to the number outcome, my business has soared and the numbers have blown me away year after year. We have more profit this year than we did last year with me working half the amount of time because I'm able to show up for the right reasons. So 2023 reflection, share with me what your 2023 looked like. I would love to hear, where were you trying to go, and how did you get there? Did you get there? Where's the disconnect? What did not happen? Because that's important too, to acknowledge what didn't happen so we can go back to celebrate the things that did. Again, I wrote this note yesterday. Most women do not know how to celebrate their success. So let's celebrate the things that did instead of focusing on the things that didn't happen. Share with me how your 2023 looked and tell me what your intention is for 2024. I have my manifestation, my intention, my North Star already lined up for 2024. I'm not going to share it yet. My team knows what it is, and that's what we're working toward, and that's what we've already had a whole strategic plan meeting about. You should know what you're working toward, and it can look whichever way you want. Is it straight up cash? It can be that. But is it something different? Whatever it is, build it with intention, and then make sure you understand the path to get there. Your success is not just the money that you're making. Your success in your business is how does it look? How does it feel? How does it fit into my life? Because you also have to remember that your life looks a whole lot different from other people's. I started this live by talking about me watching a lot of other coaches in this space a couple of days ago celebrating their annual milestone. And again, I celebrate with every one of them. I adore some of these people because I know them personally. I respect all of these people. I celebrate all of those people, but our lives are not always the same, right? If you are looking at a coach who is a single female or an unmarried female or a female with no children and other responsibilities, her life is going to look a whole lot different than mine. I have teenagers. Literally on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I call them my Riley days because my oldest has a job and after school activities and 1,000 other things, yet no car and nothing. Like my Tuesdays and Thursdays are not mine, they're hers. My life looks a whole lot different than a lot of other people's. You have to build a business that reflects what you need in your life, and your success measuring stick has to reflect that. Don't just look at numbers. I made multiple six figures in my nutrition coaching business in the first year, and I almost drowned in it. I was literally ready to burn it down and walk away because it was a nightmare in my actual life. The second I changed how my business functioned and I got time back and aligned it to my life, not only did I feel better in my life, but also I more than 2.5x'd my revenue in the next year by doing less, by doing it better, by doing it in a way that worked in my life. So your 2023 reflection needs to be about more than money. Yes, the money matters, but it needs to be about more than money. DM me, comment below if you want to. Share with me how your 2023 looked. Let's celebrate together. And then set your intention for 2024. What are you doing next? And what does it look like? And what is your measuring stick? Because it doesn't have to match everybody else's measuring stick. All right, with that, I hope you guys have an amazing day. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.